Hey guys, it's Shane from Now That I'm Older. I hope you're liking everything you're hearing on the Rogan's Hell Podcast Network. If you are, go to roganshell.com/Amazon for all your shopping needs. It's not going to cost you anything extra, it's not going to look any different, but every time you use that link, you're going to be helping out the Rogan's Hell Podcast Network. So bookmark roganshell.com/Amazon every time you need to buy something from Amazon. Thanks a lot.
We are vengeance. We are the night. We are the powerful Nerdcast. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 50 of the powerful Nerdcast.
Oh, motherfuckers.
Holy
That's
crap.
right.
It took us over a year to get to 50 episodes of this podcast. That means there are over 50 hours of me and Christian talking about bullshit. And you know what? We got a lot of bullshit to talk about today. But first, it's been a while since we've done our last show. Christian, are you excited?
The obvious answer is yes.
Yes.
I am very excited.
Damn right.
But, there's like 52 weeks in a year, so it does taking us, a little over a year to get 50 episodes. Not that crazy.
And we have lives outside of this podcast. We've been busy lately.
I live and breathe through this microphone, Corey. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man.
Taking it to a new level. But like I said, we got a lot of really cool things to talk about today. There's been some big developments over the course of the last couple weeks. We've had some big new movie trailers coming in. Captain America Civil War with motherfucking Spiderman. We've also had a brand new X-Men Apocalypse trailer. And we also have some big announcements for some brand new anime coming out this spring. And even the return of a very certain ninja.
Yes, and the biggest villain of all is descending upon us, Corey. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
He's winning all the primaries.
Oh, Jesus. That's all it took. Future President Trump. I don't even want to talk about politics.
This is not a political show whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember once we had a guest come on and we had, I think it was Shane and his friend. Why am I forgetting? They do the Now That I'm Older show. I'm very embarrassed that I'm forgetting the other gentleman's name. But they came on and they wanted to talk.
Shane and Kenny.
Kenny. And they wanted to talk politics with us. And we were like, North Korea bad, I guess. We don't know what to.
I like Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue.
I mean, that's my stance.
I'm all for Korean barbecue freedom. So it's just funny. But at the same time, Donald Trump is just like, he's like this joke that no one wants to admit is a joke, and he just keeps getting more and more powerful.
He's a winning joke. Is what he is. He's dominating right now.
He literally says, "I'm going to appeal to the lowest denominator American, and I'll win the presidency," and it is winning. He's out. I listened to a podcast by the gentleman named Dan Carlin, who has one of my favorite podcasts out there ever, Hardcore History, and he has Modern Sense or something. I forgot. It's like about current events. He also has this other podcast about current events and Common Sense with Dan Carlin. Now I remember. And check it out if you don't listen to that podcast and you give a shit about history or anything. It's amazing. And he called one episode "Trumping the Playbook," and he talked all about how like Donald Trump will talk about banning Muslims and all sorts of crazy shit. And other politicians can't even engage him because they can't talk about those things. They're like, well, today we're going to engage in this and we're going to do that and that. And then Donald Trump's like, fuck you, you sweat a lot, and they're like, I don't know how to respond to that, because they can't go to his level.
No one's ever talked that way before.
Yeah, in politics. So it's like, maybe in other politics, but not in American politics, not in modern American politics.
I mean, it's appealing to someone if he's winning so damn much.
And then he's like, I don't tell my protesters to do bad things. And he's just like, in my day, we'd punch that guy, and don't worry, I'll pay for your legal fees. Like, what? Don't tell us.
I remember seeing that, got home from work, sat down, turned on the news, and that's the first thing I saw, and I'm like, is this fucking real? Is this actually happening right now?
What's that Bizarro World thing you were telling me about?
Yeah, I'm convinced at this point. This was originally a joke that I heard from stand-up comedian Patton Oswalt. He made this whole bit. He's like, I think we live in this alternate evil version of the real world. He tried to put it in perspective. He's like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is governor, spinach is poison. His whole bit is funny. He's a great comedian. Check him out. And I'm starting to believe he's right, just with everything that's been going on right now. It's like, what the fuck is happening? I don't want to say I'm losing complete faith in humanity, because there are still a lot of great things in this world that are worth living for. Hell, the other day we worked an event for Make-A-Wish, which, one of the most fulfilling jobs I think that we've ever worked, and when we left it, we felt amazing. Moments like that make me proud to be an American and proud to be a human being today. But every single time I turn on the news or turn on the radio, it's all the same Donald Trump bullshit, and I'm sick of it, you know? That and all the other, you know, electees, you know, they're really not all that special. Freaking, what's his name? I think Ted Cruz. Everybody, like, thinks he's, like, a serial murderer for some reason.
I just say he looks like a child molester. He's got that child molester look. But, yeah, he's weird, but he's, like, the last guy left on the Republican side.
Yeah.
So you got that guy, and then you got Donald Trump, and then you got, you know, Clinton, who's weird and a big political machine, you know, that's been part of the establishment for a long time, and no one really trusts her. You know, I think they did a poll, and they said, like, only 30% of the voting population even trusts, you know, her. And then you got Sanders, who's kind of like the hypothetical good guy because he, like, wants to give everyone free college and stuff. But then everyone's like, wait, how do you, like, pay for that shit? And
spawned from the loins of frickin' Larry David from SNL. God, it's amazing. He's probably the best, like, caricature of that guy. Like, it's so realistic. They're practically brothers at this point.
It definitely seems that way.
Yeah.
It's very strange. So it's a weird election. It's probably the worst ever. But then again, if it's this bad already, there's a lot left of life to live for me and Corey. So I feel like it could get worse. Who's next?
Let's just say that. Let's just enjoy, you know, what we got right now, because who knows what's going to be happening this November.
Okay.
But that being said, let's squash all this political bullshit. This is the Powerful Nerdcast, and we're here to talk about a lot of nerdy
powerful political bullshit cast.
Let's not go down that road anymore. Fuck the political bullshit. Let's get to some comic book movie political bullshit with Captain America Civil War. We're kind of late to the game on this one. Everybody's already sort of gotten their impressions about this brand new trailer which came out. It hit us last week, and I honestly did not expect, like, before the movie was going to be released, any of the promotional material, that they were going to show us anything from Spider-Man.
You really didn't think so?
I did. I mean, I know why they did it. Obviously, think about it. You know, Disney owns Marvel.
Yes.
Disney has a lot of merch that they can sell, and who's going to push a lot of merch? Motherfucking Spider-Man. That's what's going to happen. And at the end of this brand new Captain America Civil War trailer, we got our very first look at the next iteration of the live-action version of Spider-Man, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. You know, I really haven't had too much of a problem with any of the live-action Spider-Man suits. I think they've all sort of brought something really interesting to the table, and they've all sort of, like, pulled and picked from, like, different eras of Spider-Man's look. I think the only one I never really cared for was the one that was used in the, I think it was called The Amazing Spider-Man. I think that was the reboot, the first suit that they did with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I thought that was the one suit. I was like, not really my cup of tea, but still it resembles Spider-Man at the end of the day. The Tobey Maguire suit I honestly thought was kind of perfect, and the one that they used in the second Amazing Spider-Man movie I thought looked really great. But this new one right here is still different in its very own right. And
it almost looks fake. It almost looks like CG.
That seems to be the general consensus from a lot of people. Everybody's just like, it looks kind of plasticky, a little too elastic-like, almost like too CG-like. And I'm pretty sure that is a CG shot, you know, where he comes in at the very end and he takes Captain America's shield, does the big flip and everything. That probably is fully CG Spider-Man right there.
Yeah, because the suit looks like too soft. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like fuzzy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I think you told me too, like, it doesn't seem like it meshes well with the other costumes.
Yeah, like every other costume is based in realism. Like when I look at Iron Man, it looks like a dude in a big robot suit. It's a little, not clunky, but has weight to it. Has a restriction to the way it moves.
Probably the most, like, comic accurate from the MCU, I'd say.
Yes, but like then Spider-Man comes in and it almost looks like it's not a dude in tights. It looks like a CGI dude. And that's just weird, I guess, to me.
I mean, what do you think of the overall design in general?
I like
What was
it.
your first impression like when you saw that trailer?
I like the white eyes immediately. I didn't even care that they zoomed in or whatever they did. You know, like I didn't mind that at all because that is fine with me. You know, I was cool with that. So, but I guess what I was really looking for was just the spider pattern, the web pattern on the suit.
Which is kind of hard to see unless you're looking like it'll really like high-res image of the picture.
Yes, yeah, and the other thing is, did you like the way Iron Man introduced him by calling him Underoos?
I thought that was okay. I don't like the fact that that's probably going to be the introduction of Spider-Man in the movie, unless there's like a previous scene that they haven't hinted at yet with Tony actually meeting Peter Parker and maybe even knowing him. Just because, one, I mean, I am excited for Captain America Civil War. I already felt like I've watched half the movie, though.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a big problem that I've had with a lot of trailers lately, is just they give away too much of the plot. Like, it's so obvious that War Machine is either going to be killed or incapacitated in this movie because of the abundance of scenes they've shown of him getting shot down and, Tony embracing his buddy. Why, God? Why? Why, Rhodes? Take me! Like, it's just, I know that plot's going to come. And when I'm watching that in theaters, when he gets shot down and everything, I'm like, oh, well, that's not a shock to me. I knew this was going to happen. So yeah. I kind of wish they didn't show any of that stuff. I still feel that there's probably going to be, like, a big character death in the movie. Uh-huh. I've heard you say multiple times, Captain America's going to die in this movie.
Well, that's how it goes in the comics. Mm-hmm. It goes in the comics that Captain America dies at the end. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, in my understanding of it, and I am not a comic expert whatsoever, but what I understand is that he gets killed off by, like, an assassination attempt, like, that's successful later on. Like, they arrest Captain America and everything, but also no one wins at the end of Civil War. I think that that's the big point, is that maybe Iron Man wins, but he had to kill half of his friends to get there, and he realizes, what the fuck was I really doing here? So it's a sad thing. Also, I think that they're not going to kill Captain America because it's not the feel of this. Like, when a comic book happens, you get to define the feel of your series every time you start a new one. Every time you reboot or you go to another universe or whatever you want to do, you get to redefine the feeling of it. This is a pretty safe feeling. Like, this wasn't like Deadpool, which people could die, or this wasn't like X-Men. X-Men has a grittier feel than this in some ways. And so I just don't feel like they're going to kill Captain America. Like, they're probably going to arrest him if that happens, or Captain America wins and Iron Man's wrong. I don't know. But definitely someone's probably going to die, maybe War Machine, and then definitely someone on Captain's side is probably going to die too.
It's so hard to think, like, who could that possibly be, though? I mean, there's a few characters, like, a lot of those guys that are on Cap's side are, like, a lot of them are new. Yeah. Like, we've barely seen any of them in action.
Like Ant-Man.
I don't want to see Ant-Man die. Ant-Man's, like, one of the key reasons I'm really excited for this movie, because this will be the first time that Paul Rudd has interacted with all of these characters for the first time, and it's going to be funny as hell.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Just to see him interact with Tony Stark, I think, is going to be absolutely fantastic, especially because of the...
I want to see him say, oh, Black Panther, huh? I bet you work out 80% of the time all the time.
You've been waiting to scream that for a while.
I've been waiting since the beginning of the podcast to say
Somehow, Brian Fantana made his way into the MCU. That would be pretty fucking awesome. It better happen now.
He'll be like, I bet you... Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke anymore, but we get the idea.
Yeah, but speaking of Black Panther, he looked really cool in the new trailer. I loved all the shots of him like, running and chasing after the Winter Soldier. I love that he's, like, going even toe-to-toe with the Winter Soldier, too.
Yes.
Winter Soldier's a fucking badass. Like,
he's pretty much evil Captain America, or Captain America with attitude, I guess you could say. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
And that was arguably one of the coolest things about the last Captain America movie, were the fight scenes and the choreography.
That Samuel L. Jackson car scene is one of the coolest scenes in almost all of the Marvel MCU.
Like, that lead up to Captain fighting against Winter Soldier and everything. Like, that choreography was so sick. Some of the best I've seen in a live-action movie.
And that's the same directing team, right, that's coming in for this movie?
Yeah, so, like, Winter Soldier versus Black Panther, I think, is going to be really exciting. Just Black Panther, he's one of those characters, too. Like, I don't know much about the character, and I'd be willing to bet that most people going to see this movie don't know much about him. But I think this is going to be a great platform to introduce his character and remind us why this kick-ass, like, comic book character from the 70s is so remembered by comic fans and why he's still relevant even today. And like I said, seeing him go up against Winter Soldier is going to be great. There's a lot of shots of him, like, knocking him off the bike, fighting on a rooftop, him getting shot at from a freaking helicopter and, like, not even being affected by it. Black Panther's just going to kick all sorts of ass in this movie. The Spider-Man shot, we're pretty much in agreement. It looks cool. It looks fine. We need to see more of that to sort of make, like, a final judgment. We need to see the final movie, really, at the end of the day. But aside from all that, I'd say my favorite shot from the trailer, period, aside from, like, just the introduction of Spider-Man, was when Hawkeye was firing his arrow, and you had Ant-Man who was actually riding on the arrow and then jumping off, going through Iron Man's like iron gauntlet and running on his arms, presumably going right up to his face and decking him. I think that's going to be really surprising. And like, I'd be happy if this was just an Iron Man Ant-Man movie, just because of the rivalry between the two characters, just because of their tech. Like, that was hinted at a lot in the first Ant-Man movie with Michael Douglas's character, constantly commenting on that and how it's like, this is better than the Iron Man suit for, this blah, 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 blah. And this will be the perfect confrontation between the characters. I don't think Michael Douglas will be in the movie. I'd like to see him.
Also, Ant-Man is definitely going to have a cooler suit. They're gonna
it looks
upgrade.
A little different.
And also, I don't feel like, though, I'll be honest, I don't feel like Ant-Man could actually do that much to Iron Man, because his punches are like as strong as a bullet, but like Iron Man's suit could definitely take a bullet.
It can take some damage. I mean, without a doubt.
I'm confused how Ant-Man really fucks up Iron Man unless he like does what he did to Falcon and get.
That's
in his
exactly
suit
what he's gonna do.
Yeah, like get in it and break it. But maybe Iron Man has some like electrical system, like
he can like send like a shock through the whole suit.
Yeah,
that'll like affect anything that's in there. I mean, he has to be aware of Ant-Man at this point.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something that's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be a ton of character introduction, or like building of characters in this movie, maybe to a fault. Like they got to be careful they don't waste too much time on that, and that's why I'm also happy they're not wasting a ton of time on Spider-Man. They're probably just going to introduce him. Yeah. So you guys know the story.
Like towards the climax of the film, boom, Spider-Man just shows up.
We do not need to show Uncle Ben getting shot again and having...
Fuck no, we don't. I'm so sick of seeing that story over and over again.
Yeah, it's like, just like Batman, Superman, they're not going to waste any time explaining who Batman is again. They're like, we know who
there's still going to be some flashbacks, though.
Well, like, they better not take more than 10
There's
minutes.
a 90% chance we're going to see the same old... young Bruce walking with his parents down the alleyway, getting shot, and then the fucking the necklace hits the floor. The stuff we've seen before. They'll probably get right through it, which is what they need to do. Because I'm sick of origin stories at this point. Like I'm done with them. Especially with really long established characters. Like, if you don't know fucking Batman's backstory at this point, you don't know Spider-Man's backstory. They're practically the same damn thing in many ways. Some of the other ones are a little more complex. Like, they had to do an introduction to Iron Man. He was a pretty popular hero, but not so much in, like, the pop culture. Now he is. Now he's huge. So yeah, I'm glad they're going to get right through that and they're going to get right to the action. Yeah. Still no hints to like a major villain for the movie. Like
Crossbones?
There's Crossbones. It's like, who the fuck is Crossbones? But maybe
Crossbones is like a setup to show how badass Captain America is. Like they introduce him and then Captain America busts through windows, kicks his ass, and then like...
Now, a funny thing you were mentioning earlier, in the comics there was like Captain America got killed, right?
At the end.
I think it was Crossbones who did that.
Oh, really?
Like, I think he is the one. Like, I'm not... Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure...
Well, and also, they're not saying comic accurate, because in the comics, Black Panther's on Captain America's side.
Yeah.
And that's not happening in this movie.
I mean, this Civil War storyline in the movie is mostly only related to the Civil War comic story in name only. And I mean, there are some big differences.
Yes, there are big differences.
Similarities, but it's mostly a different story.
Yeah, I think there are big differences. We'll see what they do, but I think the structure is kind of the same. Mm-hmm. It's just the details. Like, there's also supposed to be that cyborg Thor in this story that Thor finds out about later and gets really pissed about, that ends up killing Hercules or something, a hero that's not even introduced right now.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, Tony makes cyborg Thor to fight everyone and almost defeats everyone, and then it kills one of the superheroes on Captain America's side, and that's when everything gets super serious, because Iron Man was like, fuck, I did not want to start killing other superheroes to get this point across, and that's where everything goes into really dark territory, and then they have to take down the cyborg Thor. And Thor comes back later on and gets really pissed that they made a fake version of him. But I don't think any of that's going to be in this.
I doubt that's going to be happening. I don't even think...
There's no Thor and there's no Hulk in this movie.
Yeah, but that's because the other Thor movie is coming out, which is called Thor Ragnarok, which is also going to have the Hulk in it. So they're doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. Like, they're off in freaking Asgard or whatever fucking dimension doing their own thing. Also, again, since this is a big Marvel movie, obviously when the movie's done, you'll want to stick around. They've already said there is going to be a post-credit scene. There could be upwards of 3 of them in this movie. One at the beginning, one midway, and one at the very end. And they could all be different things.
I'm just super sad Deadpool didn't come out sooner, so they couldn't slip him into this movie, like, secretly.
It's not going to work just because of the politics of it all.
Yeah.
You know, Sony and
someone just needs
Fox.
to pay someone a lot of money and get that shit in there. You know, get Deadpool just like, I don't really care, and then like he just thumbs up and like slides out. You know?
Like that's it.
Yeah.
Just like fuck all this licensing bullshit.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately not going to happen, but like, you know, Deadpool was such an unprecedented success. It's still making lots of money. It's the most successful movie right now.
Yeah, like
that's
one
in
of the,
theaters.
One of the most successful R movies too.
Yeah, and it's dominating. It's opening the door for a lot of like R-rated projects in the future too. So it's really exciting stuff. So general consensus. The trailer was really awesome. Basically just more of the same with a few new scenes, but really at the end of the day, the biggest thing there is Spider-Man at the end, which I like the suit. I just need to see more of it in action, and I want to see more of this kid who's going to be playing Peter Parker this time, you know, because we don't really know much about him. He has one small line of dialogue, which is delivered, I think, a little weakly. Personally, in the trailer, I felt like there could have been more oomph behind it. But that being said, that could probably change in the final product, which is not too far away.
So, whose line did you said was delivered weekly?
Spider-Man's at the very end, where it's basically like, "Hey, everyone," you know. I don't know. I just felt like there could have been more energy behind it.
You'd be like, "I'm Spider-Man." Woo!
I don't want him to sound like a 1980s surfer from California, but
Shooting
like,
web, like da, 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 da,
you know,
like
not like
Point,
Michelangelo
like
from the
into
Ninja
sky.
Turtles, but like, I don't know. He just needs to be more happy. More, I don't know, just more excited. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. But like I said, it's probably going to be different in the final product. Like, every single X-Men trailer that's come out, like that classic line from Apocalypse, that everything will fall.
Yeah.
You know, every single trailer, it sounds different because of the sound design behind it.
Yeah, like, I still don't, like, the first few trailers, I could tell that was Oscar Isaac playing him. But in this last trailer, it did not sound like Oscar Isaac.
I disagree.
Really?
I think there are parts where he sounds like Oscar Isaac, and then there's the famous line at the end that he redelivers again, you know, everything will fall. They added a little bit more sound design to it to make it sound a little more gravelly and a little more alien-like.
Uh-huh.
But in the previous trailers, it's like, that's totally Oscar Isaac.
But in the newer one, I think it's lesser. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the times there's shots in trailers that never even make it in the movie.
Yeah.
I remember there was a whole bunch of shots in the trailer for that stupid movie. Oh man, it was that actor's last movie before his wife shot him. And he was a voice on The Simpsons. It was the toy.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah, but what was the movie he was in with the toy soldiers that Tommy Lee Jones?
Small Soldiers.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of scenes in that trailer that never made it in the movie, and that always pissed me off. And it made me realize that they do that.
I never paid attention to that one that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that movie was going to be so badass, and it just sort of was like, meh.
Everything else is just a toy.
Tommy Lee Jones back when he was relevant. You know?
Yeah. And what? Tommy Lee Jones is still relevant.
Okay, he did No Country for Old Men. That's about it.
He was in the first Captain America movie.
Oh, yeah, he was. He was the drill sergeant. Mm-hmm. But I just they do that all the time. I mean, I think they're a whole bunch of things. I also keep hearing that Cloverfield movie is good. I keep wanting to see that.
Whatever, I don't care.
You don't care that people tell you that. You've already.
Like, what was that? 26. But what was like the last thing we said?
So yeah, you don't even care about that Cloverfield movie sucking, do you, Corey?
No, it's not going to do anything special. It's not going to redefine the genre. It's the same type. It's a paranoia movie. It's being stuck in a small space for a long time, and it's probably going to have a very predictable ending. Man-made virus destroying all of humanity, or probably aliens. If they somehow tie it into the actual Cloverfield, maybe I'll give it a little more credit. But it's just, to me, it's not really doing anything new.
All I know is you're fucking out of your element, Donnie. Okay.
Big Lebowski references cannot save this film. I like John Goodman. I think he's a pretty cool actor.
Not if you shit on his movies, you don't.
Not everything, not all that glitters is gold. Let's just put it that way.
Make my duty twinkle. Put diamonds in my food.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Dave Chappelle. Make more TV, dude. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know how to pick up from Dookie Twinkling. But what I will say is, let's
T-Rex
go ahead.
Egg. Oh,
all right.
Sorry. I love the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
You guys don't know what we're talking about.
His stand-up's pretty good, too. Check him out.
Yep.
Support him. Just, if you go to his shows, don't scream out like Rick James bitch or anything. He will fucking walk off stage.
He will?
I've heard he's done that a couple of times. Like, you know, people come in there and they do all the Wayne Brady bitch, all that stupid shit.
Should I never gave you Something's money. Okay. Not going to say that word on the podcast.
All right, well, we're pretty excited for all these Marvel movies coming out. There's so many fucking movies coming out. Batman vs. Superman comes out next week. We're definitely going to have to check that out, and we'll probably do a whole podcast just dedicated to that movie. I'm really excited for that one. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. X-Men Apocalypse, I'm actually more excited for that movie than Captain America Civil War, which still completely shocks me. I think it looks like the perfect X-Men movie, the one we've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. I'm still not too sold on Apocalypse's overall design. I still think he could be a little bigger, a little bulkier. That being said, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Oscar Isaac's going to do with that role.
Oscar Isaac is not a very tall dude.
No, he's not.
So it's sort of weird that he's like, but he has such a presence. Like even in Ex Machina, he was much shorter than the other actor, but still very intimidating, like mostly because he's always drunk and punching something.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But he was great in that role, man.
Yeah, so it's good. We literally talk about that every podcast.
Yeah, but no, that shows how good of a movie that really is if we have to bring it up that much.
All the time.
But let's go ahead and leave all of this American comic bullshit and head over to the land of the rising sun because we are big fans of anime and manga. And I don't know if you know this, but next month we are going to see the return of two of our favorite ninja characters. It looks like there is going to be a brand new manga spinoff of Boruto.
Really?
No longer just a small little one-shot deal. It is actually going to be the beginning of a spin-off series starring the son of Naruto Uzumaki, and it's being done by the apprentice of Masashi Kishimoto. He's a guy who actually worked with him on the manga series and helped him draw some panels and everything. And I'm pretty excited for this. This is a pretty big deal. It's going to start to expand on the next generation of characters. It's going to be debuting in less than 2 months, spin-off of the series, and it's going to be a monthly series as well. So it's not going to be like something that you're going to see every single week, but it looks like it's going to be really awesome. And May 9th is supposedly when it's going to be released, as well as another one-shot for Naruto. They're going to be releasing another small story, which is going to be all about the character of Mitsuki, who is the mysterious son of Orochimaru.
Interesting.
Yes, and a lot of this stuff is still kind of new to me and kind of foreign to me.
When did they announce that was his son?
Actually, I'm not sure if it was during one of the spin-off mangas. I think it was actually during the last movie that they released, which was the Boruto movie.
Oh, the Boruto movie.
I still have not seen.
I have.
You've seen the whole thing from beginning to end.
It's not hard to watch. You just search for it.
I know. Everybody says that. Corey, why haven't you reviewed the new Boruto movie? I want to wait until Viz releases the official product on DVD and Blu-ray before I check out the film. I want to be able to watch it in its most purest form possible. I don't want to pirate the movie. I want to be able to support the release because everybody says it's awesome. Everybody says the action scenes are just absolutely insane, and I believe them. I've seen some of the previews to it, and it looks exciting, and hopefully this brand new Boruto series is going to be exciting. The big question is, do you care?
No.
That's as deep as that answer goes. You don't care anything about the next generation of the Naruto characters?
They got to try real hard to make me care because I can't just they waited too long.
Yeah.
They waited way too long. And now I'm like, okay, I've seen One Punch Man, I've seen some other stuff. You got Captain America Civil War coming out. You got too much shit driving for my attention right now. And then on top of that, I'm also starting a new business, so I'm really busy. Yeah. But so my free time is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. The new Daredevil just came out on Netflix. I gotta fucking pay attention to that. There's too much nerdy shit. And the problem is, I might get some hate for this, but Naruto is starting to feel recycled because I know it's just all, if we're going to defeat this really bad guy, we all got to attack him together, combos. I'm going to do this, and then a smoke cloud's going to come up, and then you're going to come through it, and then this is going to happen. And I'm just like, I'm kind of.
It's almost like out. Naruto is there's not much more new the series can deliver.
There's not. They kind of maxed it out. That was the whole point. They tamed the tailed Jinchurikis, and now they can use their abilities on top of their abilities, and then they do the teamwork attacks with that. And it's just sort of like, okay, what's going on?
It starts to get so ridiculous towards the end of the series. When you start to actually learn, especially with the villains that they start to use towards the end of the series. Kaguya herself is already really extreme. Yeah. And then in that brand new movie, which, like I said, I haven't seen yet, but I do know a little bit about the villain from the film. I think his name is Momoshiki. The whole point of their characters are, they're extraterrestrial, other dimensional beings. Basically, the final villains and the original villains who, created the entire ninja world are aliens.
Yes.
And once you start to get aliens and ninjas mixed, that's when you're like, okay, the shark was jumped a long time ago, and it's finally starting to get ridiculous. And for them to make us like care about this brand new Boruto series, they would have to introduce
they can't even destroy a forest. They can't even destroy. They can barely destroy trees. Like they're not that powerful. You know. So to just take it to level 10, and then say, but they're cute. They're little. I'm like, no, I'm done with that shit. You know, if they can't give me something a little more interesting with at least keep Naruto in it, I don't know if I care anymore. Sorry. I hate to say that.
Wow.
You know, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to judge until we get to the final product. I'm really interested to see where this manga is going. You can bet your bottom dollar Super Kami Guru 9000 will be reviewing it.
Yep.
So we are definitely going to be covering the series. I'm interested to see what else they can do with it, because like you, I do kind of agree. They've pretty much done everything they can with the series. Like,
in its current format, they have worked it hard.
Yeah.
And there's not that much left.
I mean, even by introducing new characters and the sons and daughters of previous characters, there's only so much they can sort of do with that concept. You know, Boruto is a new character, but he's basically just little Naruto at the end of the day, with a slight change in personality. Like, I would say overall their fighting styles look similar. You know, the whole Rasengan thing is there. You know, it's just... It really is just more of the same. And there are probably Naruto fans out there who are really excited for that. But yeah, I agree. It is still mostly just more of the same. But I am excited to see what they can do with the story. Who knows, we might be seeing something really special from this. Now, on the exact opposite spectrum of that, we have another series that is going to be returning in manga format next month, and this is a series which I still believe never fully lived up to its potential, and I'm so fucking glad it's coming back after being on hiatus for 2 years. I'm talking about the return of Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter will officially be returning
for one chapter.
For one chapter, probably. No, joking aside, Hunter x Hunter is going to be returning on April 18th. It is going to be the continuation from where they immediately left off in the manga, which, you know, if you watched the most recent anime adaptation of Hunter x Hunter, which I think is a damn perfect adaptation, better than the manga by a long shot, because as soon as I finished up the anime version, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pick up on this manga. 5 chapters later, I'm done. And the manga version is just not as detailed as the anime version. Like, it's just, it almost looks sketchy. Like, a lot of the work looks unfinished. Like, the author was just trying to get it done and out the door as much as possible. And the biggest reason that it's been on hiatus for so long is because the author himself has had illness problems. He's had back issues. He hasn't been able to work on the series, and it is finally returning. And yes, that is the big joke. Everybody's like, all right, it's going to return for a whole week, and then it'll go back on hiatus for a whole nother year. But I am really freaking excited for Hunter x Hunter, because this is a series which I still felt never really lived up to what it could possibly do. And every single arc always managed to up the ante and be completely different than the last. Now, I followed the entire anime version. I don't know if you just watched the fight scenes or if you followed the series or not. Are you just a casual fan of Hunter x Hunter?
I always really liked Hunter x Hunter, but here was the thing that scared me, is that I knew it didn't have an ending. You know, so I was kind of like, like, I get really into shows, and then if they make me wait too long... same thing is happening to One Punch Man. If they make me wait too long, I just can't get into it. You know.
Well, I mean, you're reading the manga version of One Punch Man, then.
Yeah, and I'm current in the updated, fancy-looking one and the One Punch Man. Like,
those
series.
Releases are pretty consistent, though, right?
Consistently once a month.
Okay, well, you know, it's
hard.
better than Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I got really into Hunter x Hunter too, and I feel it's a lot like it has the storytelling of something kind of like if you took Berserk, Fairy Tail, and Naruto, and you mushed them all together.
All the best elements.
All the best elements of those shows. Then you get Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. And the storytelling, the narration is so good. The narrator, when he kicks in, you're like, oh, shit. You
but
know?
It also breaks the mold a lot. Like, it's not just like a carbon copy of like the classics like Dragon Ball or One Piece or anything. Like, it's carved its own history by having characters who are incredibly powerful but also incredibly imperfect.
Yes.
Like, the main character of Gon. Like, I don't think... He technically, I mean, you could say that like he won that fight against Neferpito at the end of the Chimera Ant arc when he like went all crazy and transformed and everything, but it came at the cost of him practically being killed.
Yes.
And everything prior to that, like he would barely ever win or he would be severely damaged. He loses most of his fights. And that just makes him one of the most realistic protagonists that I've ever seen. Not to mention, like, even after the end of the Chimera Ant arc, when he finally meets his dad, you're like, that could potentially be a great place to end the series. He meets his dad, his journey is over, but then they're getting ready to start this brand new adventure, which they barely even got into in the manga version. And there's just so much potential for the world. This is like that moment in One Piece right before they hit the Grand Line, as they were getting ready to go up the waterfall and everything. Everything previous to that was really awesome, but it was just an appetizer, and that's what all of Hunter x Hunter still is. And it amazes me that this is a manga series that's been running for over a decade, and they've barely even like scratched the surface of this, and the fact that it's returning is just so freaking good. It really shows that the fan base is rabid. They want this back, and I also hope that not only is it going to be returning in manga form, but eventually when they get further enough ahead, we might even get to see the return of the anime version, which I honestly believe is one of the greatest action anime series I have ever seen. In my eyes, it's perfect.
It is really good. The storytelling is damn near perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, if they don't keep it consistent, I don't care. That's the one thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't get into the show that is on and off.
I mean, we've been let down before with Hunter x Hunter. Like, it came back right as the anime version finished.
Yes.
Like, for like a week,
Yes.
2 weeks, and then back to hiatus for like a whole nother year and a half. So I don't want to be let down again either. So I am apprehensive, but I'm also just so fucking pumped up for this. Like, I'm so ready for the next adventure of the series to see where it is going to go and where it's going to evolve. I think the fans deserve to at least see a proper ending. You know, I don't know how they're going to do that, though, because they can't just end it. Like, they can't just do one more arc and be like, all right, well, that's the end of Hunter x Hunter. There's this whole other world which hasn't even been discovered. They've barely even gotten into the politics of how that world works.
It's like the One Piece depth, but like 1/5 that length.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on, guys? Like, come on, like, make this good. And there's so many interesting characters, like the guy that looks like the clown guy. What's his name?
Hisoka.
Like,
Yeah.
They haven't got into any of him. They
No,
could do a
barely
whole
at
arc
all.
just about him. Or is he just going to be some guy that plays in the shadows that sort of enjoys like manipulating things? That's kind of his role, you know?
I mean, there's, obviously there's Gon's story. There's his best friend Killua. There's still so much more for him and his family. There's the character of Kurapika, who is still going after the spiders and trying to stop all of them, which they never ever finished following up on. There was a point in the story where they started to get like they were going to be bringing their leader's powers back and everything, and they never got back to any of that. Like, they didn't even, like, I think they popped up once in the Chimera Ant arc just to completely, like, destroy some of them, and that was it. It was like a 1-episode deal. And then after that, they were done with them, and just, there's so much potential for this show, and I'm so glad it is returning. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, too. We're totally going to review it.
Of course.
We've got to talk about more Hunter x Hunter. Probably, like, a week before the chapters are released, I'll do like a short little recap on the 5 chapters that come previously before it and that take place right after the anime version ended, just so that way we can get up to speed and I can give my thoughts about those final chapters. But then right after that, we're going to get right into the good stuff and start talking about this brand new show and just, the potential. I love it.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of seriousness. Like, you remember how Gon was so injured after the last big fight he had, but then like there's that, I don't want to call it a loophole, but they have this like Dragon Ball type scenario where they wish his body back to normal and everything like that.
With Killa's creepy, is it brother or sister? I forgot.
It's sister, cousin.
Looks like a sister, probably a brother, I think.
Definitely the chick from The Ring.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's her other side.
Yeah. So the point is they kind of did. Wait, what was the loophole on that? When you use it, you can't like have kids or something.
Something like that. I kind of forgot, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. There's some.
But it was definitely one of the weirdest parts. But yeah, it was kind of like you say, a Dragon Ball effect.
Yeah.
Basically just make for a wish, and he's back.
And
because Gon was gone. Like, he was. They didn't even like show his body like after the destruction. Like, they would show like small glimpses of his hand, but like he was just like a mummified corpse at that point in the series.
Yeah, barely alive.
And then he gets healed, and the next part he's just back to being old happy Gon.
Yeah, it's kind of like no one even talks to him. Like,
I mean, hell, he even lost his arm during that one arc where they're at the island playing the card game. Which best anime I've seen, like, with card battles ever. They didn't even focus on the card aspects really, which is probably why that was such an entertaining arc.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And it's funny because, like, Gon's, like, kind of teacher, Hisoka, is almost like his Kakashi, but his Kakashi that kind of wants to fucking kill him, too.
He kind of wants to kill him and he kind of wants to rape him at the same time.
It's some dark shit there.
Hisoka's a weird character. He totally walks like this thin line between being like psychotic and a good guy, but I still wouldn't say he's a good guy either. He definitely has his own motives. Again, another one of those story elements from that series that never fully got fleshed out. They kind of like hinted at more of it towards the end, but because of the hiatus and everything, I mean, the show has been jokingly called hiatus. Like just because of how like long the wait has been to finally get here. But I think it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be really damned exciting.
I'm excited. I just like even Berserk, which drew me in. Like I could literally read Berserk from beginning to end, like in like a week again. You know, if I just like powered through it, it's like crazy long, but still doable. And the last damn thing, they were like, oh, by the way, it's taking a break for the whole summer. I'm like, it's not even summer yet. What do you mean? We're still in winter, And it was just getting the beginning of a new arc. And hopefully, did we ever get any confirmation if the Berserk TV show is going to pick up?
They haven't specifically said. All we know is it is going to be a TV show, and it's coming sometime this summer, which is not too far away. So I'd like to think like in the next like month or a couple months, we're probably going to start to see some new information, maybe even another trailer for it. I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. That's going to be another really exciting show. I'd say my most anticipated anime of the year is that show and the brand new season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which premieres on April 1st. Like,
really?
It has just been confirmed. They've released some brand new character artwork of some of the main characters of the show. It's officially called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable. But
it still has the old JoJo in it.
It does. It has Jotaro Kujo. Like, I'm looking at the characters right now. Jotaro Kujo is going to be returning. He's a little bit older. I think that even Joseph Joestar will be in the series too, just as an even older, more decrepit man. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be like kicking any ass at this point in the series.
Yes.
He's probably going to be bedridden at this point because he is old as shit at this point in the series. But our brand new JoJo is going to be this character who goes by the name of Josuke, who kind of looks like a high school delinquent. Like, he has this, like, pompadour and everything.
Yeah.
And they've actually revealed what his stand is going to be. And it kind of looks like a combination of Star Platinum and Dio's stand, The World.
It's kind of like that.
Just a little more effeminate. Like, the color schemes of it are, like, baby blue and pink.
Yes.
And it's got, like, a big, like, heart on the top of his head. But then again, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has always been, like, sort of this weird mix of, like, super manly and extreme effeminate.
Like, all together.
Which completely clashes, but the series makes it work. I don't know how they do it, but it's going to be great. And they've revealed some of the other characters in the show. There's this one kid by the name of, let me see, I think his name is Koichi. He basically looks like he's going to be the Krillin of the show. There's this other badass character who has this X scar that goes all the way across his face. His name is Okuyasu. He looks like he's going to be really exciting. Another super effeminate character. His name is going to be named Rohan, and then of course Jotaro Kujo is going to be joining the show too. And this one's going to be great. I didn't even honestly think originally. I thought they were going to push this one back more towards a summer release date because they haven't really made any big announcements. But literally in the last 24 hours, nope. April 1st is going to be the premiere.
I am really excited about that masculine, feminine show, JoJo. I cannot wait for that shit to kick in. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be good. It just is going to take a while until I get into this. I'm sure they're going to start with a bang. And, man, the main character almost seems overpowered in some ways.
I don't really know anything about him. I mean, all I know is he looks like he has the same powers as Star Platinum, which means
and the world
lots of speed
combined.
Oh, he's going to be able to like stop time and shit too.
Yeah, he reverses time.
Holy shit!
Overpowered.
Yeah, he is going to be super overpowered. But I don't know. We'll have to see what the villains are going to be like in the show as well.
And I just want Dio to at least appear in a flashback. Like,
I'm over Dio at this point. I like Dio.
Yeah.
I think he's a great villain. Probably one of the greatest anime villains of all time. But, he's dominated a couple of seasons, and I think his death is definitive as it could be.
I just want someone to say, no, wait, it's me, Dio.
God damn it, Dio.
No, it's me, Dio.
I think the one thing I'm going to miss the most, though, is probably going to be the entire 1980s aesthetic. That's like probably my favorite thing about Stardust Crusaders. It's not like it like defined the series or anything, but it just I love the '80s era and everything. I loved the music that they attached to the openings and the endings and everything. It's gonna be really tough to outdo those openings that they did for Stardust Crusaders. But I'm optimistic. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the future of the series. It makes me glad that I haven't decided to delve into the manga version because I like experiencing it in anime form.
I'm trying to get this stuff.
Kono Dioda!
It's me, Dio!
God dang it.
Kono Dioda!
You know, I before we wrap up, I just want to mention, like, I almost thought about possibly using, like, combining the John Cena and the Dio thing together.
Oh, so it's like, it's me, John Cena! No, it's Kono Dioda!
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that, but
and then you just got to put something random like, "Why are you stealing boxes?"
What the fuck you stealing boxes for? Well, you know what, guys? I think that is the perfect place to end today's podcast. Thank you guys for joining us again for episode 50 of the Powerful Nerdcast. In many ways, this is just the beginning. You know, I think the one I'm looking forward to more is going to be episode 100, but this shows that we're going to keep on going. We have a lot of great topics going into 2016. Next time, you can definitely expect us to talk about this Batman Superman movie. Not to mention, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other shows which are coming out in the spring anime season. I'd also like to see the return of Awkward Imager readings. Because a lot of people want to see those return, and I think
we just got to remember to put them in the podcast. We keep forgetting to like put them in. You know,
we've had so many technical difficulties. You guys actually don't realize
this show is super hard to produce.
Yeah.
More so than you think. Like, how hard is it to put two cameras down, record some audio, and smash it together? Harder than you think. But it's not that it's not worth it. It's just a little more of an effort than we've ever had to, really. Usually we just sit down and hang out.
Yeah.
But it takes a little more work than that.
Yeah, and we've been so busy here lately in ways that we can't even possibly imagine. Busy is good, though. We need to emphasize that. But yeah, we need to start making more time for this show, and we're definitely going to do that going even further into 2016. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you again for watching. Make sure to give us your topic ideas. If you guys have any questions you would like us to answer on the show, we would love to do that for you. And before we leave, I just want to go ahead and thank Rogue Intel for allowing us to make this show. Rogue Intel is awesome because they allow us to pretty much say exactly what we want, as offensive as it can be, and that's really awesome. And you should definitely check out the other shows at rogueintel.com. They are really awesome. You can download all of them on iTunes. You can watch them directly on their channel. And if you would like to help keep the network going, make sure to head over to rogueintel.com/Amazon for all of your shopping needs. It doesn't cost you any extra. And guess what? A portion of your total will go towards the Rogue Intel network. So make sure to check those guys out. They're pretty freaking kick-ass.
Woo! Well, anyway, guys, personal message. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're making that happen. We will be going into 2016 and episode 50 and beyond as strong as we can. So thank you for watching. And until next time, the Powerful Nerdcast is out.